What's up, amigos? Commander Jaime here. Today we are doing a Mega Colony deck profile. So my friend Ross is actually joining on the channel once more just to show it off. This actually is for premium. This is showing with the new support coming up with the Set Booster 10 that has the Gredora and Darkface support. And so Ross, would you like to take it away?
So I'm starting off with the new starter, the on-ride draw, and then if you are going second, you get a ticket. My trigger lineup is two of the Machining Snowwing, which is the heal trigger where when you G-guard with it, you could bind itself and a heal trigger to countercharge or soul charge. Two vanillas, heal triggers for the extra power. Two draw PGs. Three regular draw triggers. 4 stride fodder crits, and 3 of the Into Soul draw 1 crit triggers for the first premium collection set. I do this lineup because of just to keep the extra draw power for any kind of discarding I have to do with the new cards I'm running, and to keep hand advantage with lethal in the deck as well.
Is there a reason why we're playing the 2 draw PGs and not the 4 draw PGs?
Because I am running two grade 1 PGs in the deck for the filtering with the cradle markers to search it out.
That's right. So if you retire a grade 1 on your opponent's side, you could search a grade 1 PG.
I could search the grade 1 PG out of the deck and have the extra deck thinning there.
It's really nice. Searching power and Mega Colony now. How do you like the double heals, the split ratio?
I like it. It's fine. It's only a 5k difference with everything else being 10k power, so it's nice to have. This Machining Snowwing has come in clutch a couple times today and in the past to get me my counter charge or soul if I need it for the Gredora stride and all that.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense.
So for my grade 1 lineup, I'm running 3 Vulcan Lafayette, if I'm saying that right. 4 Twilight Matter. 4 of the new grade 1 that we got.
Breeze.
Breeze. Yeah, her name's
Breeze.
just gonna be Breeze. I can't read upside down right now. And then 2 of the grade 1 PG, where if you ride on Vanguard, you could draw and discard 1. The new grade 1 that we got is really good. You can discard a grade 3 or discard any card from hand on Vanguard or Rearguard to draw a card. If you discard a grade 3, you get to cradle one of your opponent's units, which comes in very handy mid to late game or early game if they want to try and punish you for rushing. I run Vulcan because he's got resist. If you have a Darkface Vanguard, your opponent cannot intercept in that column. And at Dark Device, beginning your main phase, you can put him into soul to countercharge, so your opponent has a harder time in damage denying you that left and right. Then I run the Matters because they're 10k boosters when you're on a grade 4 or greater Darkface Vanguard. And he goes to the soul to draw a card at the end of battle, which helps make numbers in the deck. And he is Dark Device, so kind of can hurt at times, but not really much of a problem because you usually stun their board and you can pick and choose the column you want to put them in before dedicating to it. And then the grade 1 PG, as talked about in the trigger lineup, I could search it out with the cradle marker and deck thin easier and make my opponent's life a lot harder.
One of the things I noticed when I was facing you, a lot of the games, the Jeffrey clone was really good because it gave you that 10k boost. But I noticed that Dark Device works if you can clear the rearguard that had a cradle marker and I left standing on purpose. So that way you can just like force it by chance too, because you have other cards that just retire rearguards with the cradle marker on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, I like the extra power. I like keeping the hand size with the deck. I seem to keep a good hand size thanks to Matter going off all the time. For my grade 2 lineup, I run 3 Dangerous Horn, 3 Heatable Spot, and 4 of the new grade 2 that we got. I run Heatable Spot, and this will always be my opinion. I run him at 3 because if I go first and I'm facing a rush or a 4-space deck, they now have to work harder to get around this 12k body if it's on Vanguard Circle. I run Dangerous Horn because he could be a 10k body on Vanguard and Rearguard. But he also becomes a 16k attacker if I have a grade 4 greater Darkface Vanguard and they have one or less standing units. So boosting it up to 7k makes it 23 and 8k makes it 24, which hits all the numbers for the decks that are out and running around in this meta. Then 4 of her, because on Vanguard or Rearguard, Counterblast 1, check top 6 for 2 Dark Faces with different card names, so that's great filtering potential for the deck. And her second effect is really good. When she attacks, Soul Blast 1, 6k for every Cradle marker on the board, and if she's over 20k, she gets to draw a card. So it's always good to keep the hand advantage with this deck because of her. And she will still proc even if she gets a trigger put on her and there is no Cradle marker to help her out.
I really like her. I almost feel like every time you use her, you get the draw for sure. And it kind of reminds me of like Great Nature with Success.
Yes.
It's really funny.
Yeah, my one friend that plays Great Nature, he says that she pretty much just stole the success ability for standard.
Pretty cool. With the 12Ks and the Dangerous Horn, have you ever felt that maybe you want to play 4 of the other one or vice versa?
I've thought about it, but the way I'm running the deck, it's too tight to just go down to 2 on any of them.
Okay, so you wanted an equal balance.
Yes.
So with 3, you're able to at least see 1 by whenever, grade 3 turn or stride turn.
Exactly.
And then if you open up with them, you could just ride them, which is a good.
Exactly. Then I don't want to run 4 heatable spots and be missing a 5k shield.
You're right. You can't even guard with that guy. You're right. So
nope,
that makes a huge
difference. He's just meant for PG fodders or any discard abilities. So for my grade 3s, 4 Intimidating Mutant Darkface, 4 Gredora, and 2 Cyclomatooths. There we go. Obviously, because it's a Darkface based deck, I run 4 of each Darkfaces. Intimidating Mutant Darkface is good because if he's called in any way, shape, or form, you can still proc his effect to discard a card and put a marker on the board. He's good to become a powerful attacker by using for Counterblast 1 and killing a rear guard with a Cradle marker. He gets 5k for every one of his grade. So he's very good pressure for the deck. Cyclomatooth's in there just to be an extra attacker and powerhouse. He has potential to go critical if he knows a grade 1 or greater off top of the deck. He's also a nice Gredora target as well. And Gredora is just Gredora. She could put 2 markers on the board if you go first to punish your opponent for trying to rush you. And she can call out Darkface or Cyclomatooth on her declaration of attack.
I feel like with the new grade 3 Gredora, it really gave Mega Colleen like a solid grade 3 turn too. To not only be able to like deal with rush because you can put Cradle markers on them, but also like actually have 4 attacks if you really want to. So it really doesn't feel like you have to win that first stride, but obviously winning first stride can be big in certain matchups too. So
exactly.
I also like the original Darkface too, just being able to like put Cradle markers and then popping them, and then you get to get your search off too.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot you get the searches when you kill something on the Cradle marker as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that can also become beneficial if you need a key card in your hand and you have multiple markers on the board.
Is he the only one that pops?
Yes.
Like force pops?
Yes.
Gotcha.
He's the only one that force pops.
Okay. But he's really good that you could fetch him with the grade 3 or the grade 4 Gredora too as well. And you have the Darkface name, so if you stride into Overwhelm, the Jeffrey clone can still actually get the benefit too.
Yes. Actually, no, I lied. There is one other card that can retire, but that's a grade 1, and that retires itself to do that effect, which isn't really worth it in my opinion.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, because grade 1's like retire itself, kill something on a Cradle marker, call a unit of the same grade from your deck to the rear guard, and then you get to add that grade to your hand.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. Gotcha.
So I just don't find it worth it to lose that rear guard because of that when I could use like a Jeffrey clone for bigger numbers.
Yeah, and then the Jeffrey clone is something that you could just commit, do your attacks, swoop it up, get some advantage back.
Exactly.
Really helps you keep going.
That's why I prefer to like Jeffrey and Vulcan and all that. For my G zone, I am running one Relish Lady, one Air Elemental G Guard, so I could use her effect to discard like the grade 2 with no shield value and get a draw and try and get better shield value into my hand. Two Featherwall DD, because she's still good because she gets 10k if your opponent has 2 or less standing units. And one Grisefort. Grisefort is still good even in this meta because if they decide to swing with their Vanguard first and they have powerful boosters, you can just rest their whole back row. It gets around resist and it will make your opponent regret going with the Vanguard first half the time. Then I run one Zoa. I don't go into him much, but you know, he's still there in case I need to go for that extra pressure to win the game. Two Overwhelms. It's good in certain matchups to get hand back if your opponent has a board and you're struggling a bit. And her GB3 is still nice just to have the extra power to the whole board for every face down counterblast they have. Yeah, that's really for her. Oh, and then the early drive and crit if they have 1 or less units on the board. So that's a good pressure as well. I'm running 4 of the new premium collection stride. I might drop her down to 3. The reason why I have 4 of her is because I'm thinking of trying to go a aggro route to where I can just abuse her and not really care about my opponent, because I think she still has a lot of potential. She's just being overlooked right now. I gotta do more testing with her before I make this final decision of even having 3 of her in the deck. And then the last 4 slots obviously go to Gredora. She's still good in this meta still. She helps slow people down. She shuts down the massive superior calling decks that hurts Mega Colony a lot. And then she can call out Darkface or Cycloma Tooth to add more pressure, get a marker on the board. And just all around, it's just a fantastic card for Mega Colony, and I will always play 4 of it until further notice. I do not see myself ever going down to 3 or less.
It's a really good strike because like it not only shuts down like superior calling outside of just a hand, but it locks them out of G guarding too, and sometimes people forget. And then at the same time, your Vanguard's stunned, so they have to have the grade 3 to ride, and then still have the other card to actually stride with. And for some clans that might be hurtful more than others too, especially if it's like a Force clan. So if they ride, sure they can get a Force gift, but it's not like Excel 2 or even a Protect 1 where you can just get the card back somehow from hand. So with the new card from Premium Collection, if you reduce it down to 3, what would you replace the 4th copy?
I'll probably go to 3 Overwhelms or put the GB8 back in the deck. Because it's funny, when I took the GB8 out of my deck, I was telling my friend the games don't go long enough for a GB8. And every game I've played so far today has gone past GB8, and I cry every time.
Yeah, I definitely recommend probably going down to 3 just to fit in the GB8 at least.
Yeah, because the reason why I still think that the new stride is good is because, yes, it flips 3 cards in your opponent's G zone face up, so they can just flip the G guards and like, oh, you don't get power. But if then that only leaves them with 1 G guard left in the whole time. So they go into the flip G guard. If they're running 5, they flip the G guard face up. That's it. They're done. Or even if they G guard once, they can't G guard again because there's 4 G guards face up. And then the next turn, you just throw her on the board, and now you're just getting power, massive power, between 30 to 45k on her second stride. And that'll rip away 6 cards out of their G zone. On top of that, most first strides have to flip a card, so they'll be out 8 cards in their G zone by the time you go into the second stride for her, which would help with the aggro route once I can figure that out for the deck.
One of the other things I noticed too is that, you know, if the game does go long and if you're not able to GB8 and they've G-guarded a couple of times, you can almost like know that they're going to flip like a stride unit, so you can actually guarantee that power up to your columns and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Then if I have like Darkface and like Cyclomatooth, for example, they'll both get bigger off their own effects, and then she's just gonna make them bigger as well, which makes them even harder to guard. So that's always nice to think about. So, like I said, I'm still testing with her. She's really good for specific matchups. Wouldn't really use her in a deck that superior calls left and right.
You fall back to Gredora at that point.
I fall back to Gredora.
Yeah, it's a good fallback. And so I feel like Gredora and Overwhelm are your like go-to strides for most matchups, and then you have the option for this one in certain matchups, and then you have the Zoa just in case, and then once you add the GB8, the GB8's there to help out close out certain matches too.
Yeah.
I think you would have a very solid G zone at that point too, for sure.
I just gotta find Tyrantus. I don't know where he went. I think he crawled away from me after I took him out of the G zone.
No pun intended.
No, all the puns intended. Don't say no pun intended.
He went back to his cradle.
I'm gonna smack you. How dare you?
Oh, stop.
How dare you? I'll pun my pun.
Any thoughts moving forward? I forget, is Megan Colony still getting more reveals?
Megan Colony is still getting more reveals as of this point. The whole set hasn't been announced. All the VRs have been announced, but there are still like commons and rares floating around still that have to be shown.
As of this video being recorded, what was the latest one? Reveals? Was it the machining?
It was all three machining the new machining units that were announced yesterday.
Gotcha. So for those watching, you can know when this video was recorded, so that way you get an idea like, oh, they didn't have that card because it hadn't been revealed.
There's always that comment floating around.
Yep.
Always.
Definitely. Anything else you'd like to say, Ross?
Long live the Queen.
Alright guys, that was the deck profile. Thanks again, Ross, for coming into the channel and showing off your deck profile.
Not a problem.
Leave a like, comment down below, share, and subscribe, amigos. Bye!